Greetings from Elite English Academy. Welcome to this TRB PG English 2020 Success Strategy series. Dear friends, in this video I am going to discuss how to prepare for Unit 3 of PGTRB English syllabus. As a part of this, I have discussed the two previous years question papers, that is from 2017 and 2019, from which exclusively from third unit how many questions are asked, how to approach those questions, if such a questions are asked in the future, how to analyze and how to prepare. So all these strategies I have discussed in this video. So this is the comparison of the questions asked. First, let's see the questions in 2019. So in 2019 in total there are 7 questions asked. So as usual, the important works like Ode to Dejection, Kubla Khan, Ode on Aggression on, then from Essays of Elia, the South Sea House. From that there is a question, but other prose parts are ignored in detailed version, because detailed versions are very small passages, whereas here the other side in non-detail in poetry, both the years from 19 and 17, Prelude and Adonius, they do not have any question from that. Then from Defense of Poetry also does not have any question. Then the other 3, Preface to the Lyrical Ballads, then Emma, Wuthering Heights, the 2 novels, from there 1 questions each are asked in both the years. Then in 2017 more questions are asked. 2017 11 questions are asked, whereas in 2019 only 7 questions are asked. So from this what we have to understand, every year in the same unit required 11 questions may not be asked, so we have to be prepared for that. So if a few questions are less from one unit, that means from another unit there may be more questions. But as per the requirement, they have limited the literature question within 110 in both the years. So the remaining questions are allotted for GK. So from GK and educational psychology. So from that we can be very clear. So what we have to be prepared, for the important works you have to be prepared. So probably why from Prelude and Adonius questions are asked, not asked. From Defense of Poetry, why questions are asked, not asked. That may be because from the same writers, from poetry and prose questions are available. So naturally, so the most important works, they may attract the examiners from question point of view. But regarding the non-detailed prose and novel, so Emma, Wuthering Heights are very famous. Then Preface to Lyrical Ballads, so that is the universal treatise regarding criticism. So naturally, so questions will be from this. So you have to be well prepared for these kinds of works. Another important strategy is repeatedly in all the videos I have been pointing out. If it is a poetry, you must go through the poetry. You should be familiar with the poetic lines, so that questions can be easily approached. Especially in 2019, from this unit, third unit, the questions are relatively easy. Whereas from 2017, the questions are really deeper. So there is a general thought. Every year the questions are getting deeper and deeper. So of course that is true regarding most of the units. Whereas for some units, it is quite natural. So the previous 2017 questions are difficult, but 2019 questions are easy. So this is the perfect example regarding this unit. So now coming back to the point, 2019. First question. Peace to the mains of the bubble, silence and destitution are upon thy walls. Proud house for a memorial. So the line occurs in. So from the line, you can easily understand it is about a house, right? So naturally, from the given option, New Year's Eve, the South Sea House, Dream Children, Christ Hospital. Probably this is one of the easy questions, because options are very limited. From Essays of Elia, that too from the given portion it is asked. So the only clue that we have, it is the walls. So there is a house. So naturally the South Sea house. So essays of Elia, from that also, since they are the small passages, you can just go through those essays, then you can be better prepared for this exam. Then another question, according to Wordsworth, the knowledge both of the poet and the dash is pleasure. So the options are biographer, historian, lawyer, man of science. So this particular line occurs in preface to lyrical ballads. So if time permits, I would say just quickly go through the text, because the text is available in internet. If you just type lyrical ballads, be preface to lyrical ballads, you will get the text. So the language is very difficult, but you can go through one so that such questions can be easily answered. The answer is man of science. Next question. Though foster child of silence and slow time. This line is taken from the poem To a Skylark, Ode to the West Wind, Ode Intimations of Immortality, and Ode on a Grecian Urn. So any student who is preparing for a competitive exam like this, so definitely you might have gone through some of the lines. So this particular line is taken from Ode on a Grecian Urn. So again, from the same line, several questions may be asked. Who is referred as the foster child? It is the urn. Foster child of silence and slow time. So that is Ode on a Grecian urn. Then foster child, then it is personified. The urn is personified also. So from literary devices also, if question is asked, you can be well prepared for this. Next question. For he on honey dew has fed and drunk the milk of paradise. These lines are from, so again this is a very difficult question, because the previous line was easy, very famous, whereas this one, it is not very famous, but it is also the part of the text from one particular poem. So Paradise Lost, Book 9, Law Dame Sans Mercy, Kubla Khan, Ode Intimations of Immortality. So after these four options, see, once you know this particular question is not from second unit or first unit, you will remove the option of A, Paradise Lost, Book 9. You can remove that. Then Law Dame Sans Mercy, that is not part of the things that we discuss in the same unit. So the two things that we have, Kubla Khan and Ode Intimations of Immortality, then naturally it is Kubla Khan. Actually, I included this particular question in one of the previous videos in which I was discussing Paradise Lost. So the reason was how the lines can be misleading, because and drunk the milk of paradise. This word may be slightly misleading, so some students may think maybe paradise lost like that. So regarding literature, it is very important to know there are some words that are used across the ages and across the genres, across the poetry. So we have to be very careful regarding the question. Kubla Khan is the answer here. No poem of mine was composed under circumstances many pleasant for me to remember than this. So here in this particular question, the who is the poet is given, right? Wordsworth refers to. Then what is referred in these lines? That is asked. Daffodils, my heart leaps up when I behold, to the cuckoo, lines composed a few miles above Tinton Abbey. So here, my heart leaps up when I behold to the cuckoo. These two are distant answers, because here the question is Wordsworth refers to. So what does he refer to? Definitely it is not about the cuckoo, or it is not about himself, right? So the two options we are left with, daffodils and lines composed a few miles above Tinton Abbey. So naturally, students know the answer is D. Lines composed a few miles above Tinton Abbey. The next one, Emma remarks to her father that Dash loves to find fault with her. So of course here after the meeting between Knightley and Emma, so after the party this particular scene takes place. So she makes a reference like this to her father about Mr. Knightley. It is an obvious question. So become familiar with the characters of the same novel, then things will be easy for you. 2019 last question. Lockwood finds a testament written approximately 25 years earlier. It belongs to Heathcliff, Catherine Earnshaw, Hindley, Edgar Linton. So it is part of Wuthering Heights. So here Catherine Earnshaw and Heathcliff, the seniors, were in love. Later, the junior finds out her diary. Here the misleading word is so testament. Actually, the word testament refers to a great document, an agreement. So 10 commandments, the New Testament, right? So great writing like that. Here, so what we have to understand, our testaments means, our testament may also mean it is a kind of writing, right? So if you understand this word, then things will be easy. So once it so happened Heathcliff is able to find out Catherine Earnshaw's document. That's all. So with this, the discussion on 2019 questions are asked. To evaluate the question pattern of 2019, they are slightly easy except those two questions based on the textual lines. Of course, they are also from the popular poems, so they also should be considered as easy. Now we are moving to 2017 questions that will give you further insight. This was once a house of trade, a center of busy interest. So this question is very easy. Here business to the South Sea House, a house of ill repute, the Bank of England. So here, once you get a question in a particular exam, first try to fix the question into a particular unit. So once you fix the unit, okay, it is this age. So these are the works included in this particular unit, and this unit belongs to this age. Naturally, you can narrow down the scope. So here the other options are business, ill repute, the Bank of England. They are a little bit distant. So once you know, so this question is asked from essays of Elia. Naturally, immediately you will fix the answer as the South Sea House. Next one, William Wordsworth's ode, Intimations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood, is about the legacy left by the ancestors to man, the legacy left by the child to man, the lessons offered by nature to man, the lessons man learned through experience. So here you know William Wordsworth is a poet of nature. So he praises nature, he tries to preserve nature in poetry. So if you approach this question, so because this is a question asked based on the theme, if you approach this question based on that, definitely you would know what is the answer. That is the lessons offered by nature to man. Because the first two options, legacy, what is the meaning of legacy? A kind of legacy means it is a kind of great thing, right? Say a reputation, something. For example, if a person retires from the department or school, you say the legacy of that person. When Sachin Tendulkar got retired, Dhoni got retired, the legacy of Dhoni, the legacy of Sachin Tendulkar. Like that, we talk about something past, so that was great. So like that, so the legacy left by the ancestors. So definitely Wordsworth is not talking about the ancestors. The legacy left by the child, definitely it is not. So the last two. So naturally the lessons offered by nature to man is the answer. Next question. O lady, we received but what we give, and in our life alone does nature live. From the line we understand it is also from a nature-based poem. These lines occur in the poem Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn, Coleridge's Ode to Dejection, Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, Wordsworth's Immortality Ode. So here definitely Keats may not come here. So, O lady, we receive, but what we give, and in our life alone does nature live. So it should be between Coleridge and Wordsworth. So that idea should come to your mind. So Coleridge Ode to the Dejection. So unless you are familiar with the textual lines of this particular poem, it is difficult to answer. So what I would suggest is, so it may take 1 or 2 days to read the entire poems of this particular unit. Just all the poems are available in net. Just go through it. Next question. It was in dash Hazlitt got the chance to hear the celebrated poet's speech. June 1798, July 1798, March 1798, January 1798. Actually, the word Hazlitt. So, what is the work given from Hazlitt? So, it is my first acquaintance with poets. So, that is the right. Then, which poet? So, that is the question asked. Then you have to correlate Hazlitt's life years of living with the other poets of the same unit. So we know this particular question is asked from unit 3. So who are the other poets who belong to that unit? Shelley, Keats, Wordsworth. So then definitely it should be within those poets. Right, here the answer is January 1798. You know the significance of 1798. So that is the publication of lyrical ballads. Then who are associated with lyrical ballads? Wordsworth and Coleridge. So the thing should be between these two persons, right? So that's how you have to fix the answer. Now let me give you additional information on this question. Actually, Coleridge was the person referred in this question, right? Then it so happened he came as a priest to preach. So Hazlitt happened to walk for 10 miles to listen to his sermon. So here he says, when I went there, he started reading, Coleridge started reading this particular line from the Bible, and he went up in the mountain to pray himself alone. So it is the textual quote from Bible. As he gave out this text, his voice rose like a steam of rich distilled perfumes. So here I have taken this particular line from Hazlitt's work, my first acquaintance with poets. So here from the same part, further questions may be asked in the future. How? Which poet is referred, and what was he teaching, right? Or what was he preaching? What was the effort taken by the writer Hazlitt to listen to that? All these type of questions may be asked. Please keep it in mind. The anchor of my purest thoughts, the nurse, the guide, the guardian of my heart, and soul of all my moral being. So here, this is one of the toughest questions, because here the question does not give who is the author, right? So which is the poem? It is not given, but the question asked is who is referred here? Is it poetry? Is it father? Is it nature or teacher? So from the once we finalize the author, the question will be very easy. It is the textual line. What is given is textual line, but in the question it was given. So if it is given one by one according to the metrical arrangement, we will understand it is based on poetry, but it is not given. So just like that, it was given as a prose line, but it is from poetry. So this particular line is from lines composed a few miles above Tinton Abbey. So here, when Wordsworth was talking about his childhood, he said that nature was his only solace. So based on this understanding, we have to finalize nature as the answer. Next one is a very direct question. Lamb's dream children are Alice and John. Please make a note of it. Further also, such a question may be asked. Thus, for, O friend, did I not use to make a present joy the matter of a song. Of course, it is also from a poem. So the name, the friend of the poet referred here. Please look at the question very carefully. The author of the line is not asked. Which friend is referred? So, if we know who is the owner of this particular line, then we can look for who is the friend. So name of the friends here given are Keats, Lamb, Coleridge, William, Wordsworth. Another interesting thing is Keats and Lamb, they do not talk about any of the friends, especially Charles Lamb, he is a prose writer. So first we have to remove that. Keats, he's not talking about anything in the given text because word on a Grecian urn is given, so in which he is not talking about the friend. So that option is also removed. So it is Coleridge and William Wordsworth. We have it. Then if you know who is the author of the poem, author of this line, then the other one is the answer. So this particular line is taken from the poem from Coleridge. Right? So naturally the answer is William Wordsworth. From the given poem, from the third stanza, this particular line occurs. Next one, it may be affirmed that there neither is nor can be any essential difference between the language of prose and metrical composition. Right? So this observation is made. So here from the given text, it may be affirmed that there neither is nor can be any essential difference between the language. So this particular line talks about the language of poetry. Who has talked about the language of poetry from the prescribed text? It is in lyrical ballads. So who wrote the preface to lyrical ballads? It was William Wordsworth. Coleridge requested William Wordsworth to write the introduction to lyrical ballads, in which Wordsworth has talked about the nature of language to be used for poetry. So it is the obvious answer, William Wordsworth. Thrustcross Grange is my own sir. He interrupted, wincing. I should not allow anyone to inconvenience me if I could hinder it walking. So it is very difficult because from a novel normally textual questions are not asked, but here this question makes is very difficult because a particular line is given from the novel itself. So from a logical deduction we have to come to a conclusion regarding the answer. The answers options given: Emily Bronte's house, an old ruin, a personage, the home of the Linton family. So first we have to understand this particular question is from Wuthering Heights. So Thrustcross Grange is the famous home that belongs to Linton family. Please understand, though the options are relatively easy. So Thrustcross Grange, those who are familiar with Wuthering Heights, definitely you should be familiar with this particular line. So definitely you can fix the answer as the home of the Linton family. But the thing is, if the question is asked like who said this, then it will be difficult. But though the lines are taken from the text, so when the question is approached which is referred, this question is relatively easy. The next one, Where are the songs of spring? A. Where are they? Think of them. Think not of them. Thou has the music too. The word though here refers to. So here it is the particular line from autumn. So once you know that is, so definitely you can fix the answer as autumn. So Ode to Autumn is written by Keats, right? So when he is talking about autumn, so he is talking about the cedars and how the apple crush is made. Then afterwards he just makes this line. So where are the songs of spring? Where are they? Think not of them, though has they music too. That is, normally autumn season is considered as a season which is not expected, because during the autumn season all the leaves will fall, but it is the season in which the fruits will be ripen and people collect the fruits to make juice. So he is making a reference to that. Of all sounds, of all bells, most solemn and touching is the peal which rings out the old year. So here the key word is year. So the question directly asked us, what do the church bells signify? Is it joyous tidings, enthusiasm of life, then a most solemn and touching commencement of a new year? So if you know this question is from Essays of Elia, you can just easily fix the answer, commencement of a new year. Dear friends, going through old questions and framing new questions based on the old questions are one of the fine strategies of preparing for competitive exams. Because sometimes when the question setters are preparing the questions, they may not able to go through all the texts. They may have old questions on their table, so they may take the old questions and rephrase the questions. Sometimes they may change the options. Sometimes from the same line they may ask a different question. So it is very important to be familiar with old questions too, so that at least 5 to 10% of the questions you can answer correctly without any doubt. Because in competitive exams, every question is very important. If you answer one question correct other than other competitive examiners, so students, definitely you can be placed ahead of them. So that is the important thing. So continue to prepare well. So if you feel that you can join us, please call us. I hope this video is useful. Kindly share this among your friends so that the information may be shared. Thank you. All the very best.